We're heading into a sprint race weekend at Circuit of the Americas, and the drama surrounding this event is incredible. Between the McLaren teammates who are on the verge of a full-blown war, Max Verstappen's relentless pursuit in the standings, and the brutal Texas heat that will test everyone, what can we anticipate from this weekend in Austin? Even more crucially, is this the race that transforms the entire championship landscape? Formula One has landed in Austin, Texas, at a venue that consistently produces thrilling racing. Circuit of the Americas stretches 3.426 miles across 20 corners, earning its reputation as one of the premier overtaking venues in the sport. The signature uphill climb into Turn 1 creates spectacular moments and has been the scene of numerous opening lap incidents over the years. With both McLaren drivers locked in a title fight and expected to qualify at the sharp end, that first corner becomes even more significant this time around. However, Sunday's Grand Prix isn't our only concern. The sprint weekend structure changes everything. Friday delivers a single hour of practice before moving straight into sprint qualifying. Saturday packs in both the sprint event during the morning and the traditional qualifying later in the day. This condensed timetable leaves teams with minimal opportunity to perfect their car configurations, inevitably opening the door for errors and unexpected results. Austin's weather outlook indicates scorching conditions across all 3 days. The mercury is forecast to hit 33 degrees Celsius on both Friday and Sunday, dropping slightly to 30 degrees Celsius on Saturday. While there's a minor chance of rain, predictions lean heavily toward dry running. These elevated temperatures will play a crucial role in tire wear and strategic planning, potentially becoming the deciding factor in race results. The title situation arriving in Texas is utterly captivating. Oscar Piastri holds a 22-point advantage over Lando Norris following the Singapore controversy. That first corner contact between the teammates, initiated by Norris, has fundamentally altered the dynamic. McLaren has apparently ditched their papaya rules philosophy and will permit unrestricted racing between the pair. While this appears fair on the surface, it simultaneously removes any safeguards against future incidents. Mark Webber, who manages Piastri's career, has been applying considerable pressure behind the scenes. Multiple sources indicate he's genuinely investigating alternative options for his driver and leveraging potential moves to Ferrari or elsewhere as negotiating power. Having endured comparable circumstances at Red Bull, where he perceived himself as playing second fiddle to Sebastian Vettel, Webber remains highly sensitive to anything suggesting Piastri receives inferior treatment. The sprint format amplifies this already combustible situation across the weekend. Piastri and Norris will compete against each other in 4 distinct sessions: Friday's sprint qualifying, Saturday morning's sprint race, Saturday afternoon's main qualifying, and Sunday's Grand Prix. Each represents another chance for friction, debate, and possible catastrophe. Yet Max Verstappen cannot be overlooked in this equation. The Dutch driver trails Piastri by 63 points, which appears substantial on paper. Nevertheless, 199 points remain up for grabs over the final 6 events, with 3 being sprint formats offering bonus scoring opportunities. Verstappen has demonstrated renewed competitiveness lately, and Red Bull's technical updates seem to be delivering results. Should the McLaren duo continue stealing points from one another, Verstappen possesses a realistic path back into championship contention. Verstappen brings invaluable experience to these scenarios. His 2021 campaign demonstrated his ability to manage the intense pressure of a title battle that went down to the final lap. He rarely commits errors when the stakes are highest, something we cannot consistently claim about Norris, and, following Baku, perhaps not about Piastri either. The reigning 4-time champion will be monitoring McLaren's internal struggles closely, ready to exploit any opportunity. Circuit of the Americas should, in theory, suit McLaren's machinery. The MCL39 has dominated at tracks requiring high and medium downforce levels throughout the season. The circuit combines high-velocity straights with technical corner sequences, matching McLaren's core strengths. That said, the restricted practice allocation in sprint weekends means teams operate with reduced data when finalizing their setups. This limitation might narrow the performance gap somewhat. The sweltering weather will significantly influence strategic decisions. Elevated temperatures accelerate tire degradation considerably, forcing teams to choose between single and double pit stop strategies for the 56-lap main event. The undercut strategy could prove particularly effective here, while safety car timing will be critical. COTA's Turn 1 will command everyone's focus throughout the weekend. The uphill blind entry creates an ideal overtaking location, but also serves as a frequent accident site. Should Piastri and Norris find themselves running in the top two positions approaching that corner, whether during Saturday's sprint or Sunday's race, can they navigate it without contact? McLaren's choice to allow unrestricted racing means no team directives will prevent bold maneuvers. Saturday's sprint race introduces additional complications. Despite lasting only 19 laps, championship points are available, and in such a tight battle, every single point carries weight. Sprint events typically feature more aggressive driving because competitors feel compelled to act quickly. If Piastri and Norris engage in combat during the sprint, it sets the tone for everything that follows. Any collision or dispute on Saturday would dramatically intensify Sunday's main race. For McLaren, this weekend carries enormous importance. Having already clinched the Constructors' title, their complete attention shifts to the Drivers' Championship. Andrea Stella faces tremendous pressure to manage this situation successfully. Zak Brown has publicly stated his desire to provide both drivers with equal opportunities and allow merit to determine the outcome. But executing that philosophy becomes challenging when trying to prevent them from eliminating each other. Brown recognizes the peril they face. He witnessed Verstappen's capabilities under pressure firsthand and understands that another significant error from either Piastri or Norris could invite the Dutchman back into contention. The McLaren team principal recently expressed their intention to position both drivers to fight for the championship through Abu Dhabi and let the superior performer prevail. However, reality suggests McLaren may need to make uncomfortable choices regarding team orders to prevent Verstappen from claiming the title. Saturday afternoon's qualifying session promises to be compelling. This weekend creates substantial physical and mental demands on the drivers. Examining what each needs to accomplish, Piastri must preserve his championship advantage and prove he deserves top driver status at McLaren. Costly mistakes cannot be tolerated, and maintaining a comfortable buffer over Verstappen remains essential. Norris faces the challenge of erasing that 22-point deficit to his teammate. He must outscore Piastri without causing incidents that eliminate both from contention, a massive burden amplified by expectations from the British media. Verstappen's objective is straightforward: accumulate maximum points while McLaren's drivers battle internally. He needs to prove Red Bull's development direction is working and that his championship aspirations remain alive. His proven track record in title fights might become the determining factor if McLaren's management struggles persist. This weekend holds particular significance as the opening round of 3 consecutive sprint events. Mexico follows Austin, then Brazil, each offering additional points. McLaren's handling of this Texas weekend will establish the template for the upcoming month of competition. Successfully navigating it with Piastri extending his lead would put them in a commanding position. Conversely, if tensions explode and Verstappen narrows the gap, we might witness a legitimate 3-driver championship battle. Considering everything we've discussed, what are your thoughts on the United States Grand Prix? Which narrative excites you most? Can McLaren navigate this weekend without disaster, or will Verstappen capitalize on their internal conflict?